So Joe's GoFundMe, there was a lot of controversy on that. But I think there's another way around that, which is Patreon. I think that
wasn't that like the same thing?
No, but it's not though. Like the GoFundMe is like give me money and then I get it once and like oh shit, like my 5,000 pounds or whatever he's getting is done and now like what's the next step?
Yeah.
But like the Patreon's monthly. So say like a skater gets, I don't know what pros get nowadays. Say you're getting like $1,000 a month from X company, you know?
Right.
If you have a Patreon, some of these guys have like 50,000, 30,000 followers. If like a small percentage of them even donate like $1 each, $2 each, you have like another income coming in and you are able to skate and sustain yourself. In addition to the $1,000 a month, maybe you get another like $2,000 from Patreon, and that's your check right there. Like Miguel always, you know, Miguel always says like, it's up to us and only us, you know,
that's true.
like
that's
it's true.
Yeah.
And like I would happily give $5 a month, like $1 each to like my top 5 favorite skaters, you know.
Also,
and
if it was incentivized too, like for example, like the homie's like, hey, you know, if I get here, I'll take this tour, I'll take this trip, or I'll put out an edit, like, or you do put out an edit and you use that as support, or just like kind of these ways to like I think it's a great way for people to start brainstorming.
Yeah, I think that's like a conversation that we should have just as a community. Like if say Joe has a Patreon now and he's like, say I donate $1, you donate $1, $2, whatever it is, and like 1,000 other people, 2,000 other people are also doing the same thing. Right. He could have like, it's another big check that he gets every month. He could put out, you know, edits. If I want to see him skate, you know, I love watching Joe skate. So that's incentive for him to keep going. He's going to last more than, you know, 5 years or whatever it is. He's going to last 10, 15 years. There's pros in other sports that are like in their 50s still doing it and shit.
But you know what? But I think in like application, it's harder to make work without the incentive, because it's hard for, I think, people to want to go out and spend any money without like having received anything.
Well, that's part of the game. Well, if you want that check, work for it. Put out an edit every month.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. There should be some brainstorming surrounding the incentive of how to how to involve people. But I think that's a good path for sure.
Pretty much, if you want to see these pros keep going, like if something like in your generation, whenever it was, if people wanted to see you go and you had a Patreon, like, yo, I want to watch Fish keep skating. I want to see him keep making all these sections and shit. I'm going to donate money to his Patreon. And it doesn't have to be a lot. Like I said, like if I would happily donate $5 a month, which is like nothing, like $1 or $2 to my favorite pros. Right. And these people could continue to skate and continue to put out content. Yeah. Like Eugen puts out edits all the time. I feel like every week, like the Portland Zoo kids have a new edit out. And like, I would love to support that in other ways. Like, the more incentive they get, the more motivated they would be to skate, make edits, travel, do contests, and all this and that. I think this is a great way to keep our pros in the industry for longer. The ones at least that we want to see.
It's definitely a conversation that we got to start having, because I totally want to see people hang around, like, you know.
Yeah, that's
also like going back to Winter Clash. That was also something that I saw that was really good from that, like to have like these kind of things to like bring everyone, like to keep everyone involved and have like a reason. So it's up to us and only us.
It's up to us and only us.
That's
exactly.
it.
See, imagine if like everyone at Winter Clash each donated like $1 to like their favorite skaters or whatever, plus like everyone else around the world. Yeah, it's like an extra, you know, doubles your income or whatever it is. And I think that's something that, like I said, we should have a discussion about. It should be more open. I want to hear like what other people's opinions should be on this, because I want to see these people skating. Exactly. What do you guys think?
Guys in the chat.
I want to see these guys around as long as possible.
Yeah, totally.
And I would happily give up money for that. And if all these pros had, you know, Bobby Spazov had a Patreon page, Eugen had a Patreon page, and Joe and, you know, whoever else, just to see, even like Alex Brosco had to have a Patreon page. Like,
did he?
I'm saying, like, if like all these people do get Patreon pages, like I would happily support all these people.
Yeah. I mean, it would be, you know, like I said, like for someone like me, like I would be like, yeah, I want to support these people, but then like I wouldn't. But if I saw like something to like put in, I would. Like,
and the thing about Patreon also is like it's direct feedback from your fans, because like
how about this, a request-based system where you're like, dude, can you pull or try this trick? And there's like, you just toss in like $200 or something.
There's different things like that too. Patreon works in different ways too. So you could do stuff like that. But like I was saying, it's direct feedback because
how far you can go down the rabbit hole.
If you're doing good, your Patreon's going to be high. But if you start falling off and you start making edits, like people are going to be like, oh, I want to put my money towards someone else. And then you're like, oh shit, I got to like start working again and start skating more. And I think it's more motivating in that way to keep, pros making content.
This conversation is actually bringing me back to the Winter Clash where they had like all these like, basically like classes and like, what was it? What would you say those are? Like where they're like kind of these open forum discussions where like they're just kind of talking about making money from skating, like without having to be like an gnarly skater.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to, even though I feel like I'm kind of switching the subject there, shout out to Yo-Yo.
For like organizing
all that, like
I can't believe
that was so much.
So much work goes into that. And when you're there, you really see it. All the people, all the volunteers too, that just donate their time and effort to building the ramps, helping out, organizing, whatever it is, helping out the day volunteers, the food and working the doors and all that.
Yeah.
It's an insane effort from everyone.
There's a lot going on there.
It is. And should Yo-Yo have a Patreon?
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's this thing, speaking of Patreon, what was the Patreon Pro thing?
That was that.
Oh, it was that. Okay.
Yeah, I just think that Pro should have Patreons, so that like
that was a mark on our thing. It said Patreon Pro. I was like, what is that?
Yeah. So it's pretty much if every pro made their own Patreon, and you gotta if the companies aren't going to pay you enough, you got to make it work yourself. That's just the world we live in nowadays.
Yeah,
everyone's making their own money for themselves, doing their own thing, being an entrepreneur, doing you can't rely on companies anymore.
Nope.
And even though sponsors are there, you could get your salary from your sponsor in addition Patreon. Plus, you're motivated to travel, do contests, get paid for all that stuff as well.
I agree.
And I think that's, if you don't want to donate, just don't donate then. If you're against it, just don't donate.
Just don't.
But I'm sure there's a lot of people who will support it.
Yeah. And look, exactly. If you're against something, just, I know we're in this world right now where everyone has like a voice and we all feel like we got to express our distaste for something. If you don't like it, just like keep the, I don't know.
Just ignore it then.
I think it's best to keep the negativity at home.
Yeah.
Like, maybe just like take it to like a punching bag or your local skate park. You know what I mean? But like, if you don't like it, like you said, just leave it where it is.
Yeah. But I think it's an open discussion, and I would like to hear what everyone thinks about that.
Yeah.
And just in general, if someone starts popping up with a Patreon page, I'm down to support it.
Yeah, I mean, it depends who it is. But
yeah, it depends who it is. I'm just saying,
but for sure,
in general, like pros.
I like the idea.
Yeah.
I like the idea.
People need to get paid more.
Totally.
If it's not going to happen from sponsors or other companies, we got to make it happen ourselves.
Totally.
And at such a small expense, it could go a really long way.
Yeah, this is our community. This is our world.
Yes.